Hi. This video goes out to some of the people I just, no joke, like 5 minutes ago, just had a talk with somebody who was really cool, right? And, yeah. Hi. My name's Dustin, and some of you might know me, some of you who watch this video will. Um, I've been living on my own for about 5 months now, and it's been crazy. So I'm gonna tell a little bit of a story because this is super cool, and I'm super excited about it. And because it's Corona, I thought, oh well, it might be easier to talk and share this over the internet. I don't know. Anyways, enough with the jibber jabber. So about 6 months ago, I graduated this program called Teen Challenge. I got the jacket on right now. It's iconic. You can't forget it, right? But 15 months before that 6 months I graduated Teen Challenge, I was in Teen Challenge. I was at the start of it saying goodbye to my family, being bald, wearing those maroon, disgusting shorts that every guy wears going through. And oh my gosh, I hated it so much. And a lot of the staff can probably vouch for this, that I was a little bit of a problem. Ask Mr. Brad. I sprayed cleaner in a light socket and it blew up. I clogged toilets on purpose. I was a little bit of a troublemaker. And y'all for those CQs, you were like, I'll never get off CQs. I got off CQs. So if you think you can't, just ask the staff. I got off CQs. It's very much possible. So back to my story. So the 15 months, I wore the maroons, first phase, right? And you ask yourself a lot. You're like, oh, what's this about? Yeah, you get to second phase. You're like, okay, I know what to do. I'm higher than those first phasers, right? And things have probably changed since I've been there. But phase 4, phase 5, phase 3, Mr. Derek, Mr. B, all of them are super cool, right? And you got some new staff since that's happened probably, right? And it was crazy program. But I got a few pieces of advice for y'all and a little bit of a tip and some things to tell y'all. First thing I'd like to say, stick it out. Come on. It's not as hard as everyone makes it out to be. Yeah, it's annoying. Yeah, it's inconvenient. And yeah, you're missing out on probably the most boring parts of your life, right? You could be out doing something fun with your friends, but no. You're stuck in a house with 26 guys who all share the same bathroom, and you have to share a closet with a dude who's really smelly, right? But stick it out, as you will be, some of you guys who aren't athletic or musically talented or good artists, or some people who've never accomplished anything, you're going to be so glad that you did. Okay? You're going to be so glad that you finished something. It's the best feeling ever. When you ring that bell, I rang mine 16 times on accident, and I signed the board and I was like, yeah, and then I sat in the office for 15 minutes. So that was awesome. Waiting for my parents to pick me up, but it was the best feeling ever, right? Some of you guys finishing high school, you can do it. You aren't dumb. That's not of God when you say that you're dumb. I've been told this many times. I always say I'm dumb, and this great lady always says, no, you're not. That's the devil speaking. You're not dumb. You're really, really smart, right? So that's my first piece of advice. Finish it out. Whether it's school, that run with Mr. Nick or Mr. Steve on those marathon trainings, that PT session, that game of basketball where it's super frustrating and nobody's getting along, finish it out. Because finishing is the best feeling. Okay, that was really worded wrong. But anyways, next piece of advice I got for y'all. Take it in. You may not understand of how a lot of these lessons why these lessons are taught and, what the purposes are. But when you get out, you'll really, 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 really recognize them. When I got out, I definitely, there was a big gap. I didn't know what to do with myself all the time, and I ran. That was like a big thing for me. I love running now. And, I'd feel these big 6-hour gaps of time with just really ridiculously long runs. And I just run because, that's what I was passionate about. But don't be passionate about one thing. Be passionate about many things. I would say fill your head, fill your heart, and fill your hands with tons of passion. Because guess what? If this isn't working while these two are, you can't be complete, Like, sometimes, I try to open my Bible as much as I can. The best piece of advice one of my good friends told me, he's like, you need to start studying the Bible. And it's frustrating because I spent 15 months reading Corinthians and Proverbs, and I was so frustrated. I was like, I don't need to read the Bible. But reading in general is a great way to fill this, right? Work with your hands. Men are supposed to work with their hands. That's what we're made for. We're meant to build and, tear houses apart. That's what these are for. It's crazy. And fill that heart. Find something you are truly, truly passionate about. Because if you don't, you're going to have this big gap. You're going to be like, I accomplished all this and this is my future. But without that passion to put them together, you're not going to have anything. You can't get to point A to point B. That train's leaving the station, At least that's my opinion. Right? That's my second piece of advice. Fill your time with something that fills your hands, head, and heart all the time. Okay? Now, my third piece of advice. Okay? For some of the guys that are about to leave the program, and let me tell you, it's a lot harder than you think, and don't be cocky walking out. Don't be like, I got this by the horns, because I was the same way. I was like, I got this. Right? And don't be scared to say you messed up. I bet some of the staff say that to you sometimes. Don't be scared to say you messed up. When I got out, I had a few hiccups, right? And I remember my dad calling. He says, why isn't your rent paid? And I was like, oh God, what am I going to do? So I started selling a ton of crap. And I was trying to get myself out of this hole that I just dug myself in because I wasted my money on stupid crap, right? I dug myself a hole and I sat in it. I tore down the ladder. I don't know if you have pictures on the monitor still, but it's a guy sitting in a hole and he's using to build the fire with the ladder that he could have gotten out of the hole with, right? And it's so true, that statement, right? You're burning your ladder. Don't burn your ladder, guys. Come on, like it's a waste of time. Try to get yourself out of that hole. Get yourself out of the hole. Say, yeah, no, I messed up. Mom, dad, I messed up. It's really hard sometimes to look your parents in the eyes sometimes and say, yeah, I messed up. But let me tell you, if you finish the program, you fill your head, hands, and heart with things that you're passionate about, right? And then you learn to admit your mistakes and move out of it. Your parents, they won't be mad. They'll be proud. I remember my dad came down one day and we're trying to get my financial stuff in order because I'm awful with money. Trust me, I blow my money every time I have it. And he wakes up in the morning after he got in at 10 o'clock at night and he's like, here's what we're going to do. We're going to get the ugly stuff out of the way. And I was like, oh God. My dad sat there for an hour ripping me a new one. It was so bad. I was like, oh my God. And then at the end of it, this isn't the first time he's done this either. At the end of it, he says, I'm putting $55 in your bank account. Okay? We're going to go pay your rent, and I'm going to get you groceries. Okay? We're going to fill your fridge. And he's like, you're going to be set. He's like, don't blow that money. I mean, right? Don't blow that money. Okay? And he's like, and then he tells me, he's like, I love you. And where I came from, my dad never says that too much, right? But it was awesome. My dad has done so much for me, okay? Now, so, first rule, right? We're going to go over it again. First rule, okay? Finish. Never quit. Just finish it. It's not hard. Tell yourself it's not hard. You got to put 100% into it. If you don't finish something, you're going to regret you didn't finish it, right? Number 2, fill your head, hands, and heart with something you're passionate about. And number 3, never like not admit you're wrong. It's so hard sometimes as guys. It's going to be hard. Trust me. I hate admitting I'm wrong, but I've gotten a lot better at it. And it helps you learn. Okay? And now number 4, right? Your parents love you. It's hard to see right now, but it goes along with the story I just shared. Like, I never once would have thought that my dad would have put $255 multiple times in my bank account. Multiple times. Right? That was crazy. And not just your parents love you. The staff at Teen Challenge love you because guess what? If they dealt with me all the time, Mr. Steve is awesome. Mr. Steve, you're awesome if you're watching this, right? And let me tell you, it changed my whole perspective on life, right? Because I was arrogant. I always thought I was the best at everything, and now I realize I'm not the best at everything. I'm not even close to the best at anything. I'm not even close, right? But it changed my perspective. The staff there love you, okay? So your parents do love you, okay? And you can't see it now, and it's really frustrating. But when you get closer to leaving the program and you're out on your own, and when you don't get to see your parents all the time, and you're like, I wonder what my mom's doing, and I wonder what my dad's doing, right? You ask yourself, you're like, they love me because they put the time into me, right? My dad always calls me a money pit sometimes, and I'm like, it's true. I can't, it's hard, okay? Now, my fifth and final thing is God puts people into your life for a reason. This applies to Teen Challenge. I'll tell a couple stories here, and this is how I'm going to finish up because I don't know. I think it was awesome. And these are just a couple points that I've learned, right? God puts people into your life for a reason. So as I got out of Teen Challenge, it was really, really hard. Like, I was selling stuff left and right, to make rent because I was in and out of jobs for a while. And, during this season of life, it's been kind of hard, Corona hitting and, everything just being the way it is. And Branson was awful to work in during when I got out because a lot of the stuff was shutting down. And that's not an excuse. I could definitely find work, right? But God puts people into your life for a reason. And a good example was Mr. Steve. Like, he has so many connections and, he helped me out when I needed. But let me tell you something. A good example of this. So I worked at Silver Dollar City for a little bit, the end of the season, probably about, between November and December. I worked those 2 months of the season. And I worked at Fireman's Landing. And if you go to Silver Dollar City, I don't know if y'all do still, and when you go, they have like greeters and ride operators. I was just a greeter. I worked at the firehouse and I worked the stand. And a lot of people got to talk to me, and I love talking to people. I asked the staff. I love talking. It was the best. That's just something I like to do. But I remember I met a lot of families, right? And I was just like, my thought was like, I was like, I just like talking to people, right? And at first I started just talking to girls. I was like, eh. But then like one day I woke up and I said, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try to give advice to one guy every day, one young guy every day that I see, because I wish that people would give me advice like I got in Teen Challenge before things went to crap, So I did that, and one day I said it to a young gentleman, and his dad walks up to me and says, I really appreciate that. And actually, the family that I'm always talking about helped me with my bed situation, right? They're awesome. I always hang out with their family now, but he comes up to me and says, thank you. And we trade contact information, and I hang out with them all the time now. And he's like, I really appreciate that because he needed to hear it. And I said, no problem. He's like, but he doesn't speak English, but he felt what you were saying. And I said, I appreciate that. And they're awesome. God puts people into your life. And so one day, I'm selling stuff to pay for rent, right? And they give me a call out of the blue. They're just like, hey, what you doing? I said, I'm currently selling my couch so I can pay rent. And they're like, what? And I was like, yeah, the guy's picking it up today. And they're like, no, don't sell it. And I was like, oh, no, it's fine. It's already sold. And they're like, okay, we're going to get you a bed. And I said, what? You're going to get me a bed? And they were like, yeah, we're going to get you a bed. They got me a bed, a queen size bed, comfortable. I love it. I have the best night's sleep on it. My back is awful, but it's the best night's sleep I've had in a long time. And they did that for me out of love. And I remember, God has reasons for everything. And for a long time, I thought I was going to go work with another Teen Challenge. That fizzled out. A lot of things, God has a reason for it. And don't try to force yourself off the path. Because if you do, you're just going to get lost. And you got to go find the path again. And if you ever go hiking and you lose the path, it's really hard to find the freaking path again. You're just like, which way did I come from? I've done it a few times. It's not fun. So like, here's what I'm saying. There's 5 rules I've been learning, right? Give everything you got, finish it. And if you don't think you can do it, tell yourself you can do it. Because if you say you can't, you won't be able to. If you're like, I can't, running a 6 mile and you're like, I can't do this, you're not, and get surprised at the end that you did it. It's like, wow, right? If you tell you can run a 6 mile and you run a 6 mile, then you get back, wow, I did it. Like, you can be excited about it. Okay? Your parents love you. I don't care who you are, your parents love you. Okay? It may be rough at home right now. You may have a bad relationship, but they love you. Okay? Fill your hands, head, and heart with hobbies, passions, things that you love. Okay? And don't be scared to share them. Because guess what? No one's going to judge you because you play the organ. If you are passionate about it, do it. Okay? If you want to do ballet, do it. Don't let people steer you away from your passions. It's awful, right? Okay? Your parents love you. Head, hands, heart. Finish. 4. Sorry, I'm losing my points here. God puts people into your life for a reason. Okay? And whatever the other one was, I can't remember right now. But let me tell you guys, you could do this. Every single one of you, 1 through 5, you intakes, you all got this, okay? I get it. It's hard. It's frustrating. But let me tell you, sharing a bathroom with 26 guys that smells bad all the time, I don't know if they still have that door on it, was awful. When someone would make a disaster in there, oh God, it was awful. Everyone, it was awful. But I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I finished, and I'm glad I did it. Okay? So God is love. He's done so much for me. Thank you so much. Have a great day.